News 46 is brought to you by
This is how we do it.
This is Steve.
This is how we do it. La, 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 la.
He did his taxes at Jackson Hewitt and just found out how much he'll be getting back this year. Boy, is he happy there in the neighborhood. Want to feel as excited as Steve at tax time? Jackson Hewitt's how you do it. No one gets your money faster. We have refund anticipation loans, and you can pay nothing out of pocket.
Okay, basically what we did was we approved a one-year moratorium on all impact fees, okay? And while we're doing that, I've directed staff to come back with some proposals for some new creative ways to look at paying impact fees and doing it on a sliding scale, different things like that. There are some areas that are pretty well have the infrastructure already in place, and there's other areas that don't. So the way the impact fee is structured right now, it's really not fair and equal across the board. So basically a one-year moratorium to find out, number one, is it really going to make a huge upturn in business by taking them off? And number two, once we get to the end of the 1 year, we'll reevaluate it and we'll have a whole new plan to start with. So I'm quite excited about it. I think it opens the door for businesses who may have been right on the borderline of coming in and building something or doing something. Now they have a little bit of incentive, and hopefully it'll take advantage of it, and we'll see a couple of new businesses in town.
So this has been something that you've wanted to do for a long time. How will these fees be paid since we're doing a moratorium on it? Or are we just going to find other ways to pay this? Are these needed fees that have to be paid some other way?
No, actually, the impacts, yes, we'll have to find a way to offset that. But first off, we've got to see who's going to really take advantage of this, number one. And number two, how much of an impact it really has, because if you go build something on 160, it has very, very little impact on infrastructure. If you go build it way out on the West End or something, it does. So there's a need for impact fees to cover that. If you build on a state road, which is 160 or 372, those roads are already done, and they're taken care of by the state, and it's not costing the local taxpayers money to do that. So there's different ways to look at it. I've bounced this thing around in my head for over two and a half years now. I've talked to many counties in Florida and other states, and a lot of them have done the same thing. They have tried to eliminate impact fees to see what effect it had, and it had many different effects, many different ways. And I guess we're a little bit different than most communities, so we'll have to wait and see.
And when's it take effect?
It takes effect, I believe, March 12th, or the start date is right about March 12th. It'll go 1 year from that date.
I know that construction used to be a big industry here, so in fact this may help, kind of kickstart it.
Well, basically the theory behind a lot of people, I know Mr. DeCanio's been very vocal in the community, the leading advocate on that, and we're going to find out if it really helps or if it doesn't do anything at all. Again, if people are not going to take advantage of it and use it, then why bother changing the codes and regulations and everything? But I was one that was willing to step up and say, okay, let's try it for a year. Let's take the numbers of what gets built in the next year, match it to the previous 2 years, and see if there really is an increase. And if there is, and this is the way to do it, can we offset this in the future by coming up with different ways to pay for the impacts?